Hello, everyone. This is Red, and you're with me in my world of blood and bloom. This is where I am sharing my practice of doing a tarot reading for my period cycle to connect me with the internal wisdom that I have from this very unique process in the mind of me, because like really we bleed and we don't die, you know. This mammal thing, a human mammal thing. So I'm gonna have to make a video that kind of shares a little bit more about that, but of how I came about this process. But I have a little bit in the first video that I dropped. So this is my reflection video for my December 2025 period. My new cycle has begun. Um, it started on January 1st, which has never happened before. So this is a very new cycle for me. So looking back at this past cycle where I had the card Oshun to help me during this cycle, I had petrohouses that would hinder me during this cycle. And the underlying assistance was number 16, deluge, um, which is the equivalent of the tower in the tarot. And I'm using the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot deck. So I really have had a journey of trusting, love, letting go of illusions, fears, things that do not support me living in my, I guess, highest timeline arc for love. And that's my own self love and also relational love. Love that I have with my family, chosen family, my friends, and even the possibility of romantic love. I'm in a park right now. There's like, kids playing. You're hearing background, little joys and wails and things like that. And I really had to learn to trust my intuition in a way that challenged me to choose myself. Hold on, this plane is coming over. Challenging me to choose myself without putting up barriers to the relationships that were important to me. Because self-sacrifice. So one of Oshun's stories talks about how in creation story, the other gods in the pantheon were making the world, but they did not invite Oshun. They didn't invite her to come up with creation. So she chose to withdraw her energy completely from this earth. She didn't get upset in a space where she was rageful. There was no petrol hounds jumping off, firecrackering and shit. She didn't do that. She just understood her worth and her value. And she knew when she withdrew her energy, her absence would be felt. Now, it's a really, really hard thing for me to do. had a friend that I'm not even sure if I can call them a friend, um, in the sense of where we were just, acquaintances. But, there was a moment in the early part of our friendship where we, talked almost every day. And I am not a person that routinely calls anyone at any time ever in life. um, you can ask my mama. Well, yeah, you can't. She's passed. I was okay. Sorry for the joke, morbidness. I was about to say something. Anyway, she dead. I love you, mama. I say. But yeah. So I and like this was like maybe in the last year that this friendship was around, but it and then kind of dissipated. I was opening myself to allowing someone to share their excitement of knowing me, because I haven't always had the best connection sometimes people can just not treat each other with care, so I was closed off a bit. But this friendship was really really cool, and I enjoyed the conversation. We laughed. We had a good time just kind of keeping up with each other, and I liked that someone saw me as someone that they wanted around in their lives, even if we didn't live in the same state. So I was working a lot. My job at the time was I was working overtime, just trying to get everything done. I was the only one in the office managing everything for this entire Gulf Coast region. So that was anyway. So I would come home and just not want to talk, but I would answer the phone. I would call them back. I would show up. Like you're supposed to do. Show up, because I also had care for them. I enjoyed their company. There was some mutuality in the friendship. I did repeatedly do the things that were happening in this person's life. I was an emotional support friend as well. I understood that because I also knew what was going on with their life, and there were some things that I helped clear, hopefully in some type of ways, so that they can have the best energy for what they were going through, even though what they were going through was absolutely difficult and life-threatening. And this went on for months. Probably around month 6, I was like, I can't. After a few times of not answering the phone, not responding back within, an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours if I'm, 4 to 6 hours if I'm at work, went from not responding that quickly to responding after I got out of work, or responding 24 hours later, or responding 48 hours later. Always just saying, I've just been busy, I'm just a little tired, I still love you, still care, I'll holla back type of thing. I don't think that person understood how much I did need space, and it did not mean that I looked at them any less or didn't value their presence in my life any less. They took it very, very personal. As of this day, probably maybe 2 months or so, 2 or 3 months, maybe I haven't spoken to this person. And actually a little bit more than that, a little bit longer than that. But the anniversary of us meeting, of our friendship starting in November of 2024, in November of 2025, I sent them a text. Hey, this was great. We were celebrating another person that means near and dear to us when we met, and this has been a great friendship. I really do appreciate you in my life. We'll catch up soon, type of thing. And I think previously, like I got this gift for myself that we had been joking about, me getting one, and I finally got one. So I texted them, picture of what I got. No response. And that was probably about a month prior to the November friendship anniversary text that I sent. And when I didn't receive anything back from that, I was just like, you know what? I'm okay with that. Number one, it was really, really hard for me to be clear and staunch in me choosing myself. The withdrawal, the not giving more energy than I could actually give. So that was really difficult. And then having the responses that I had from that, and then the lack of response was, I was checking myself sometimes. Am I doing the right thing? Should I make a little bit more effort type of space? But in this space that I'm in now, this past cycle in December, Oshun, love, self-love first, ability to share that love with others as long as it is honored and reciprocal. You know what I'm saying? The sweetness of life. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I just remember the sweetness. So coming into this cycle, I was going back and forth whether or not I should respond or reach out to this person again. And the withdrawal was a very clear note from what will help me in this cycle. That part of Oshun's story is it's okay for me to withdraw. It's okay for me to understand what I need for my personal self, and I'll understand when I am not being respected or honored for who I am, just to exist, I exist. There should be at least a mutual respect. And then when we're sharing boundaries, it's not a rejection. It is just, we're sharing boundaries. This is what I expect, blah, blah, blah. So this cycle really helped me just not beat myself up so much about making sure I am honoring myself and honoring the relationships that I am involved in from my end. And if it's not a balanced relationship, that it's okay for me to withdraw, and I don't have to remove any level of sweetness in my life. So I made a honey jar, y'all. I made a honey jar. I basically infused it with some activation statements that were personal for me, to help me just not forget that I can have so much, I can receive so much, and I can hold it, I can share it, but I don't need to give nothing away at all. And I don't have to ask to be invited anywhere. You know what I'm saying? If I am not being received, if someone or some place or some group does not, ain't vibing with red, it's okay. And it doesn't remove me in any level. I don't know why I said remove, but yeah, it doesn't remove me from myself. It doesn't remove me from myself. And I unfortunately had a habit of removing myself from myself when I was rejected or when things didn't go quite the way that I wanted. Removing myself from myself, and I want to appease someone else, what I think that they want from me, what I feel I can give to them, but then I overdo it, or they must ask me for some shit I'm trying to get. You know what I'm saying? This is like all this stuff that I have had to let go. So the deluge, the letting go, letting the water wash away. I had this dream, y'all. I had this dream, and this was early in the cycle. I had the dream probably a couple of days before I did the honey jar. In this dream, I have this dreamscape that started to appear to me a few years ago. And it's basically typically either a dirt road or a river where the road path would be, or like a highway where that dirt path would be. And on either side, it's it's just these tall trees. It's nothing but trees and forest on either side. But it could have the feeling of like an interstate. And even though there's literally density around, there's nothing else. I know in the dreamscape, there's nothing else around but this dang road. There's nothing else. And sometimes it opens up into a clearing. And there might be something happening in that clearing or what have you. So, um, it's weird because I hadn't had this dreamscape come up in a while. And I think I've had this dreamscape now about 3 times since November of last year. So it was a very important moment. So this time, the dirt road is a dirt road going down it's just vast. It's a long road going into infinity, and there's nothing but tall trees. And it's, I'm down the road. I'm in this vehicle in the passenger seat. A man is driving. He is energetically my mate, not my mate that is my soulmate, but this is another energy. I have a soulmate dream energy, which is a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing. But this person was not my soulmate dream boy, man. This was some other man. But in this dream, everything is beige. Like the dirt road is dirt. It's a light brown beige color. All the trees are like brown beige. They're not green tip. It's like fall, but it's not, because it's like warm. But everything is just dusty brown looking. And all of a sudden the deluge comes. The water comes rushing in. And I'm like, oh my God, my car's gonna be messed up. I won't be able to go to work. I'm telling him to turn around, but the dude's like, nah, I'm gonna make it do. And he drives the car through the water, through these flood waters. I'm like, oh my God, we just gonna die. My car is gonna die. What the fuck? But in the dream, I'm just in there, and I am inner panicking, but I'm not saying anything. It's just the water just coming out. We get through the water. He drives onto the dry land to this clearing opening on the left side of this thoroughfare, this dirt road water rush thoroughfare with the trees. There's a clearing on the left side. We pull in, and he's like, yeah, see, the car is great. The car is fine. Ain't nothing happened. I told you. And then I'm like, why didn't you listen to me? Because this could have gone harder wrong. Because I know what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And then he's trying to, tell me how everything is blah, blah, blah. And then all of in the distance, a little farther down the clearing area, is my car. And it literally is we watch it get washed away by the rest of the water, because the water just took the car. And I was like, look, why did you park it there? The water was right there. Like all these things, he just was not listening. He did not turn around. We could have driven away from the water. He didn't do none of the things that I was asking. And then I was in the dream, I was just like, ugh, whatever. And I think in the dream, I said, this was it. And then in the dream, I said, okay, I know I don't have a car now. This is how I get to work, and I will not be able to do the work that I do because I don't have the car now to be able to travel where I need to travel to do my job. So I need something else. I'm not going to worry about it. I know the Most High got me. I know this is just a turning point and everything is going to work out. I'll just leave all of this behind me. And I woke up. It took a little while the next day for me to kind of have a bing about the deluge and underlining assistance. But I've been having lots of reflection on my past relationships, romantic ones. And I have been going down the rabbit holes of the discourse between men and women relationships, and even the 4B movement that's happening in Korea, and women here in America that are choosing to be single, choosing to be child free, choosing to be abstinent, choosing not to date, choosing to live alone, all of these things. And even the United States president uh, and his administration in my country, I am a United States citizen. I love being an American. I'm not in agreement with any of this stuff. But one of the things that confirmation burgers has some real shit. um, but like how they're like trying to stimulate the population by giving married parents when they have their child like some kind of $1,000 savings bond that will accumulate something. I don't know. But this part where I have in my own space of diving into these discourses and hearing other people's opinions, women's and men's, for and against, how I have been, the no the walking a fine line between, should I be the appliance girlfriend? Should I strive to be? Like, is that the type of relationship that I want? And every time I left a long-term relationship, it really was this part of me that was like, I cannot settle. And it was typically a part of care, repeated care that I needed emotionally, physically, and it not being important to the person that said that they loved me. And having that happen multiple times throughout a relationship, leave that relationship, get another one, it happens again. It's like there's a pattern with what's expected from men in a relationship and women. And I don't like the discourse of men saying, the sex, the schmex is owed because we are in a bond. You're my girlfriend now, you're my wife now. I have access to your body when I want to have access to your body, but your pleasure is not in receiving. So, right? So I'm in this space when my December, I don't care, leave all of that. So December comes around, I have my cycle, and my cycle reading is Oshun. Love, such a man thing, but love, right? Oh, so I've really had to open some stuff in myself and let down some armor so I could actually receive the sweetness and the sweet loves that are in my life. The love that I have for the art that I do, and even my day job. I love my day job. I'm very grateful for it. I want to make more money, of course, but I'm grateful that there's something that I enjoy doing, and I'm in a place in my life. I'm very, very grateful because things could be so much worse. I could not be alive, in all honesty, but some of the things that have happened to me and things that I put myself in as well. So with my honey jar being the ritual encompassing of me making a commitment to be open to walk into my highest love life. And I'm not partnered. I'm single. I ain't mingling. What I am doing though is honoring who I love and who loves me. Not who's projecting onto me in order to extract something from me, but who I love that I'm not extracting from, but who I love that I'm not projecting on, but whom all that I love, and that is also loving me back. I had a beautiful Christmas with a friend of mine that I've known for a long time. We worked at the same place together, and she was my manager some umpteen years ago. And just over time, we've just kind of crossed paths and always kept in touch. In these past few years, we're like concert buddies. We'll go and like have, some entertainment times together. And I spent time with her after I spent time with my family. I spent time with her and her family. Ate some real good gumbo. That shit was good. And it was just beautiful because I am childless. The parent that raised me, my mother, is no longer here. And I'm refinding myself because life is short. And I was starting to get a little, I guess Spirit saw this. I was starting to get not bitter, but maybe pessimistic that even in my ideal, I do believe in love. I do believe that love will find a way. Ooh, I believe in love. So just seeing the parts of myself that I was still closed off and raging, petrol. And in that card for Oshun, in the mirror, the illusion of the fire, there's vital fire that I have in my body, in my bones, in my heart, in my soul. There's vital fire that I have. But I've let go of the illusionary fire. I've let go of the illusionary weight. And what I love. And I'm very grateful for it, how that has expressed itself to me in this past cycle. In the card, the bottom right of the card, there's a peacock. Oshun is walking forward. She's not speaking because she's not talking much at all. And if she is, it's very, very clear. And she'll put her fan back over her mouth, looking directly into the direction and the ones that she is walking to with love, to receive their love as well. Withdrawing from what she does not need to be involved in, that does not respect her, the illusionary spaces. And even having the forgiveness. Because the peacock is coming towards her. And the peacock is the male, that colored version that we see, the beautiful blue, iridescent, the colors. That's the male peacock. The female peacock is brown. Little brown as it can be. Her feathers is brown. I don't know if it has any of the iridescence in it either, even in the brown. They might. I don't know if I've seen them. There's a peacock neighborhood in my city, and I'll tell that story another time. Just to share about just kind of the world that red lives in, because I am a firm believer, especially with this practice that I've started with my cycle readings for myself. I am becoming more and more integrated with the nature of myself and the realm of this earth, this rock floating through space, and all of the cosmos. I am soaring with a higher part of myself that I don't understand fully in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But I'm taking the dare to involve myself in this part of myself, the God, the all, the voodoo, the original. So one of my teachers, this is after I had the cards for a while. I've been using these cards for umpteen years. But one of my teachers a few years back did a course on voodoo, and I loved the way they taught me and taught us in this class. Voodoo is the original relationship with God, our human original relationship with God. It was not named voodoo, it was not named that, but it was the practice therein of how we commune with the energies of this earth and the spirit therein, the life force therein that we call God, or that we call the divine, the universe, spirit, our higher selves, Jesus, Allah, you know, that energy, Buddha, the energy of that encompassing and how we as humans can relate to it. That is the original relationship, voodoo. I love using the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. I love it because it helped me jump through fears constantly. Because I'm told, and we're all told, that this spirituality, this African traditional religion that is formed and formerly known as voodoo, is one of demonic worship and all of these things that Western society likes to put on the other, whatever they decide to other. So when I got this deck, my mama gave me this deck. I was a little out of high school. My first deck was the cat deck, the Tarot of the Cat People, and I want to get that deck again, but it was Tarot of the Cat People. And my mother gives me this deck because that's another story. But she gives me this deck, and that's the first deck I was ever gifted. And at first I had my hesitations, and she told me herself she had her hesitations. That's why she gave me the deck. Someone gifted it to her, and she was like, But my fearless red, I'm curious. I am a curious sprite. So I had already left the church at 19. I'd already told God to smite me. So I already told God to smite me. So by the time I got the deck, I was, open. And I've had some experiences where I put the deck up that I did get fearful of, not voodoo, but tarot in general, and just the occult and the outside world telling me that this is something that will control me horribly. But I'm so grateful for my teachers that I've learned to trust, and they've shown me they can be trustworthy in how they teach and how they follow through. That I've learned to trust myself so much. I say to trust myself so much that not anyone can make me stray for long. I'll put that caveat. I am learning to reduce the gaps to none and being consistent in living that way. I'm learning my own energy map and how I move through the world. I am not hustle girl, and I'm not push through it girl, unless my soul says. And from the outside, I might not look like I'm doing much. Oh, but on the inside, honey, there's a lot of love inside. I shout love to myself from deep within, my energy alive and high. I release all numbness, unleashing my winds. I am filled up with my powerful soul's bright. Learning that loving myself is paramount in order for me to have a romantic relationship, and the man that is my soul's mate, he will not require me to give myself away to him energetically. He will not source my spirit and my energy and my resources from me. He will not. It's not at all. I don't have, that ain't that ain't the kind of love that is meant for me. People can call me the Lulu all fucking day. I don't care. I'm glad I didn't settle. I'm glad I never got married. I'm glad I left those relationships. This cycle has shown me beautiful, magical, simple ways that listening to my soul and forging my own unique relationship with the divine is my way to go. I say. And love always finds a way. Real love always finds a way. So I got to give it to myself. I got to find a way for myself to love myself so much that when it is threatened, that my self-love is threatened from someone on the outside, that I no longer fold out of quote-unquote humbleness. I stand for who I am. I respect who I am, and I leave where I am not respected. And if anyone wants to come back after the disrespect, there is shit to do. There's shit to do. Because love will find a way. Love will find a way. Okay. So I'd love to hear if anyone is out there, and what happened during your December cycle. How did love show itself to you? Where did you have to have the strength to withdraw, remove yourself from spaces that you even really, really know you can go off up in there in a best way, your best self, and you had to remove yourself from these spaces? Tell me about it. Hit me up in the comments if you like and are finding a connection with my story and my process, and somehow we are in blood sync, because that's a whole nother thing. Isn't this shit magical? I'm just saying. Please subscribe. Let me know that you're here, and thank you for sharing this road with me. This is Red's World of Blood and Bloom. Later.